Hey friends, I'm Darren, a longtime friend and climbing partner of Dwight's. I'm honored to say a few words in his memory, and although I wasn't able to be there today, I came here to Mount Shosha, a temple and sacred mountain in Japan. I thought it would be appropriate to come to a mountain setting to reflect on my memories of Dwight. I met Dwight at an Alpine Club of Canada climbing event in the Gatineau Hills. The two of us partnered up on a particularly challenging pitch that was probably at the limit or beyond the limit of what we could do, but we egged each other on and we managed to climb it. And Dwight was just thrilled. And from that time on, we became regular climbing partners. Obviously, climbing with somebody that much, you develop a unique bond of trust. You have to be able to trust them with your life at times, which we did. And so we had this relationship of trust in climbing, but also in life. And we would talk about a lot of things. We were very close. I was very lucky to call Dwight one of my best friends. And in a way, he was kind of like the big brother I never had. Dwight was kind of like a big kid in some ways. He was always dreaming and scheming for his next adventure. He was almost always upbeat, cheerful by default, and adventurous. He would throw himself into things with a passion. As a climber, Dwight really embraced the climbing lifestyle. He tackled a checklist of challenging routes in the Gatineaus, and he pioneered new climbing areas, and he worked his way up to climbing some of the biggest routes in the Adirondacks. He was also a key member of the Alpine Club Ottawa section's climbing trips to the Canadian Rockies. One time in particular, he really saved the day. We found ourselves on some near vertical, quite dangerous ice, and with very minimal equipment, he took the lead and led us through the crux, keeping a positive attitude through the whole epic day. And it was his leadership and his courage and his positivity that saved not only the climb for us, but it saved our memories of that day as being really a great adventure in the mountains. I'll always remember the road trip that the two of us took together after the regular Alpine Club camp one summer, and we spent a week climbing various peaks along the Banff-Jasper Highway. Dwight was, as they say, a good hang. He was just cool to hang out with. Dwight surprised me the following spring by calling up and announcing that he had signed us both up for a sailing course at the Nepean Sailing Club. And we had an absolute blast doing it, but of course for Dwight, learning how to sail was only the beginning. He had to immediately run out and buy a sailboat, of course, and then race it, and then buy another sailboat, a catamaran somewhere in the Bahamas that he would go down and sail on frequently. And then he had to, obviously sail across the Atlantic Ocean to the Canary Islands. He was just that kind of a guy. He would just really go for it. One story that really captures who Dwight was is when a group of us were out climbing at an old train trestle somewhere in Ottawa, and it was beside a bicycle path, and this cyclist all decked out in cycling gear came roaring past, and he yelled at some of us to get out of the way. And Dwight, who had of course been an avid cyclist and past president of the Ottawa Bicycle Club even, he wasn't fazed in the least. He just turned and called after the guy in his trademark non-confrontational friendly way. He's like, "Hey, be nice." And that really made a big impression on me. I think Dwight will be remembered by all of the positive energy and the joy that he brought to people through the activities that he shared with them, whether it was climbing, mountaineering, sailing, or what have you. And I think even with his cancer journey, he approached it with the same kind of spirit of adventure and positivity that he did with everything. He shared it freely with all of us. And even when it was clear that his time was coming to an end, he decided how he wanted to spend his last couple of days. He drank champagne in the hot tub with his true love, Lucy, and probably had an absolute blast doing it. And then he stoically made his exit on his own terms. I want to thank Dwight for his long and steadfast friendship, for his patience and kindness when I got bent out of shape over something, and for his deeply beneficial influence on me when it came to learning how to interact with people, just get along and enjoy being with people. I always strived to be more like that. I think Dwight's lesson to us would be to live life to the fullest, to invest in people, to not be afraid to dream and try new things, even if they sound a bit crazy. Enjoy the journey, and as Dwight would have said, be nice.